up, world? We're back. Got another video, this time exploring kind of the weird, quirky, fun things that are kind of expensive and you might not have a chance to test or play with. And today we're talking about this PL to PL 1.4 expander from Module 8 that is supposed to give you some vintage looks on some of your Super 35 lenses as you expand them to cover a full frame image circle. So we're gonna get into that in just a couple seconds, but first, if you haven't been to our channel before, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We are doing, all of our stuff with cameras, lenses, and very soon we're gonna start talking more about lighting. So let's just get right into it. The Module 8 L2 Pro PL to PL expander. Well, what is an expander, you might ask if you do not know? Well, if you're using Super 35 lenses and you want to get them onto a full frame format, essentially your expander is going to magnify into the image circle of that Super 35 lens and let that cover your image circle on a full frame camera. So you get about a 1.4x kind of magnification, if you will. So think of like a 35 is gonna feel more like a 55, something like that, but it will now cover full frame. So there you have it, that is an expander. You do lose a little bit of light in there as well. You still kind of gain the same depth of field, if you will, but you're gonna just have light loss due to the expander. Now, with Module 8, you've got, an expander has glass elements. That's, what we've got in here happening. With the Module 8, it has a gear, and as you turn the gear from 0 to 10, what it's doing effectively is moving these elements just so slightly to affect some optical qualities on your lens, which is cool because if you're using one lens, you can adjust this dial and maybe get some different looks. Now, Module 8 claims that this is going to give you a vintage aesthetic, and we're going to talk about that briefly because it does and it doesn't, and we're gonna tell you kind of what we think it does best based on our testing. So first, these are not cheap. I think these sit right around $4,500, $5,000 for an expander, so it is a expensive piece of equipment, and it is PL to PL. And as you can see, this rear protrusion is very deep, so if you have cartridge systems, most likely this is just not going to clear at all, right off the bat. But the bonus side of that is that this is pretty deep on this side, and they give you a tool to test lenses to see what will fit. But we put master anamorphics, our old Schneider Xenars, Ultra Primes. It does clear a lot of old lenses. It did have a deep protrusion to start, so that's at least a bonus. And I'm actually very excited to get our master anamorphics basically on anything full frame because I love the way they look anyway, and this is kind of a fun tool to get some more looks out of those lenses. Now, what we think that these are gonna do after our testing is, you're adding elements in the back, so they are going to change how they flare a bit just based on that there's more glass. So it's not going to instantly change a modern lens to have vintage looking flares, but it does add a layer to any flare of the stock taking lens you're putting on it. So we did notice that when you're shooting anamorphic, if you are wide open, say on the master anamorphics, it's really not that usable. But when you go to spherical, we think that really the most of your look is gonna come from when you're wide open. So if you are shooting spherical, it's much easier to tell the difference of what this is doing from 0 to 10 when you are wide open or about a stop from wide open on whatever your lens is. So what are you gonna get out of the most of this? Well, what we have found is that really it's gonna affect your bokeh and go, if you have, let's say, a lens that has a nice creamy bokeh, like most modern lenses do, it's gonna sharpen that up a bit, make it feel a little more textural, and maybe give it a little bit of onion ringing in your specular highlights and stuff, which is a pretty classic characteristic of a lot of older lenses. But that might just be kind of where it stops. I feel like, there is a general amount of softness that comes with an expander. So if you do put this on and shoot wide open, it is going to feel a little soft like a vintage lens might, but that's not a characteristic of this specific expander. That's a characteristic of all expanders. Typically when you're shooting an expander, you want to go one stop down from wide open to get some of that sharpness back that you lose going through the extra glass. From there, you look at vintage lenses and you think of some more edge fall off, lower contrast, maybe, that sharp textured bokeh, a little less saturated. Really, you're not gonna get any of those characteristics with this, but you are gonna get a level of ability to tune the bokeh in the background. Now at 0, you don't notice a whole lot. At 10, it's there, but it's subtle. If you're not a lens aficionado, you might not even notice being at any point of this wheel, but I think this could be really fun. Let's say you're shooting something corporate or whatever. If you're on this, really you have 2 looks at any given time. 0 is your lens as it is, and 10, totally different look on how it renders background and softness. So realistically, you could shoot some of your product at 10 and some at 0, and you've got a couple different looks, but keep one set of lenses, which is kind of fun in itself. But what we're gonna do here is just show you and run through a bunch of tests. We put this on a few lenses, and we're just gonna kind of show you the difference between wide open, stop down, stock, and see just kind of how it performs, and then, some inside and outside footage as well. If you're looking for it, it's noticeable. If you're not, you might not notice. All things considered, a good expander that gives you a lot of options. So let's sit back and watch some footage, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, thanks for sticking around and watching all that footage. This is something we've been wanting to try out, and we actually bought one here. You know, as a lens nerd myself, I really like having the flexibility. It's really fun also putting this on something like the Ingenue Easy Zoom. You know, you can flip the rear optics on that, but it takes a bit, and it's a 1.6, not a 1.4, so you do lose a little bit more light, and being able to dial this in kind of, I feel like, gives that easy zoom that we're all used to a little bit more character and a little bit more life. So this is really great. I love using this on the Master Anamorphics. It's really cool to see how textured you can make that bokeh, which turns that lens into a completely different look altogether. So if you're looking for one of these, it's not cheap. At almost $5 grand, you might not be willing to spend the money on this, which is fair. If you're looking to rent one, they are around, and you should reach out to Module 8. They have demos and stuff, I think, if you want to try one as well. But overall, really cool that this is a thing now. I really like this. This is a really cool way to kind of keep your footprint lower on set and give one set of lenses multiple looks. So that is the Module 8 L2 Pro PL to PL tuner. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.